see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like this. Police in my whip, but we thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't make it, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. Since they started with us cheap.
Good evening. Good evening. Welcome to another edition of the Rabble. We welcome all our viewers out there in social media land and anywhere else that you might be viewing from. I don't know wherever Keel got us hooked up at. YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, wherever it's at. We got an interesting show. We're going to have a bunch of political candidates popping in and out tonight. They're at a rally for Shalana Cook Jones and other places, and they'll be popping in and out and saying hi and giving you their last push statements before the election on Tuesday. You got 3 more days, but before we get started, we want Charles and Zakia to say hi to you all.
That's it. Hey.
Okay. Yes, sir. Okay.
We're also going to have special guests coming in throughout tonight. You have Mr. Robert Grant waiting for us now. We're going to bring you in a minute.
Mr. Bryant. Mr. Bryant disappeared. We had R.G. Bryant from, he's running for a Public Service Commission. Oh, there he is.
Here I am. How's it going?
Yeah, well, all we see is the top of your head. You're going to have to put, there you go.
That's a little better. That's a better look right there.
Yeah. Hey, you look different tonight. You don't have your bow tie on.
Man, look here. We're in the final stretch. It's called self-care.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is Charles up in the corner. You met Charles before?
I have not, but I've seen him out there, doing the campaign thing, and so that's awesome, man. Good to finally get in conversation with you and Mrs. Brown. There, I see you there, Miss Brown. How you doing?
Good. How you doing?
Okay. Well, so what you got to tell us tonight?
Well, glad to spend some time with you all. Got a little bit of time to spend tonight. I am glad to be here. I am originally from Savannah, Georgia. Just to give you all a little bit about myself and the PSC. From Savannah, Georgia. Grew up here, attended public schools. So my Largo Tibet, Durham Middle School, Windsor Forest High School crews, no shout out to Jenkins. We were still the academic #1 school, but hey, it is what it is.
And we don't hold that against you either because you went ain't but one school in Savannah, and that's the Wolverines of Tompkins.
But man, look here, we are just glad to be here. But running for the Public Service Commission along with Daniel Blackman. I can never talk about the Public Service Commission campaign without talking about Daniel Blackman, because we're both running together. The state of Georgia has never elected a person of color, much less 2 African-American men, to the Public Service Commission ever. So if Daniel and I are elected, we will be the first African-American men, people of color, to be on that board, to be elected. We had David Burgess, who was appointed, but it's a difference when your constituents elevate you and say, hey, we want you to work for you. And so really quick, the Public Service Commission is the body that should be regulating and providing safe, reliable utilities to Georgians. So your light bill, your gas bill, telecommunication services, it should be safe, reliable, and affordable. We don't get that right now. So we're going to change that narrative. And so I'll start with that and we'll kind of get in that conversation.
Well, I want you on there because I want my light bill to be a little lower. I
Right.
don't know about anybody else. Y'all do water bills and everything else, all public utilities?
I wish we did do some water bills. Look, I came back, y'all, to you know, I grew up in Liberty City, and so my mom and dad still are here, so I came back to be their caretaker part-time. And when I looked at all of those bills, you know, and you know, this is not a shout out to the city, but in the city of Savannah, why is the sewer bill higher than the your regular water bill? It's like their sewer bill is like 200 and the water bill is like 20. Like something's wrong there. But to answer your question, no. With the light bill, you pay an additional 30. If you look at that Georgia Power bill, you pay an additional $30 a month in fees and for Plant Vogtle. And the sad thing about Plant Vogtle is it's not serving anybody any justice right now. We have labor unions that are working, so we've got to protect them. But other than that, you pay an additional $30 every month on top of the services you use. And you know, people like my opponents support that.
It seems like that they would be more susceptible to bribes the way that this thing is set up, because the utility companies are just back the person that they want on those boards so that they can get the hikes, the rate hikes and everything that they want. So it just seems like it needs to be set up in a different way, and that more people need to be on it, and it need to be regional. How many people serve on the board?
Right, and you said a good point. I'm gonna break that down for our viewers. So you have 5 people on the board, and they represent regions. And the reason they do that is because at one point you had all 5 people come from Atlanta. All 5 came from, you know, one area, basically one city. And so what you have is District 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. I'm running for District 1. Daniel's running for District 4. But they have remained statewide positions, so both of our names will appear on the ballot. So Chatham County, I'm counting on you to deliver that win for me and Daniel. You did it in the primary. We can do it again. But, you know, going to what we have right now, we have 5 Republicans. And as we you know, we have some good Republicans, and we have some that mostly are Trump Republicans, which are, you know, not so good people. I'll just put it like that. I'll be nice. But also, and I'm going to put it out there, you know, 5 white Americans, you know, and no problem with that, other than you don't have any diversity at the table. You don't have anyone who can advocate or speak on the experience of being a person of color or communities of color. You can't speak for working class families. I have family members. I myself have lived through it, and I've seen people who had to make a decision between paying $200-300 light bill versus eating every day or feeding their children. And, you know, it's sad even now with COVID, some of us have seen the headlines about the moratorium. And if you haven't, go to my webpage. My press team has done a beautiful job of putting all the headlines there that you should be concerned about. But when COVID hit, you know, people were unemployed and underemployed. And if you don't believe me, ask somebody that works at a restaurant or someone who works in the hospitality industry. If you're underemployed, unemployed, and you have no income coming in, how do you pay a late fee to Georgia Power? How do you pay a fee so that your lights don't get cut off? And so what Georgia Power and the Public Service Commission approved, well, the PSC basically said, you have to have this moratorium where you cannot turn off lights. You can't, you know, collect on those late fees. You got to, you know, we're going to run this thing out. But as we know, I'm going to talk about this selling out idea in a minute. We came about July, and the moratorium was lifted. And my opponent was one person that supported that. And what that meant was Georgia Power and other companies could now could turn your stuff off within 6 months if you didn't make a payment plan. But again, if I'm underemployed or unemployed, how do I make a payment plan? Because I don't have any income coming in. And so that was just kind of a cold-hearted move that really just, we got to change that narrative. We must start spending for people who, you know, may not be as fortunate as the next person. But talk about buying out. My opponent alone has been given at least over thousands of dollars, I'll say that, thousands of dollars from the people that he should be regulating. So Georgia Power, I know for a fact, has made a significant contribution to Mr. Shaw. And Daniel and I just won't accept that. Because at the end of the day, if we're supposed to be regulating you, how can I regulate you if you're filling my pockets full of money? On top of that, this is Georgia Power's $1 billion company, and their CEO takes home $4.5 million a year. So all those things said, you know, the math adds up until we got to make change.
That's a pretty bad idea that the Georgia Power can give money to a candidate in the beginning of the process. So what do you say to Georgia Power as to why they would have an issue with you? What sort of issues are you going to bring to them to like change what they're doing right now?
Well, several things, and one of it is to let's highlight some of the programs y'all have. They do some good things. So, for example, they come to your home and they make sure your home is a little more energy efficient. I think we need to make that more visible and more accessible to people. And what that means is they'll come to a energy audit at your home or help you understand how you can do ways to save money and lower that light bill on your own. We've got to look at some of these fees. It makes no sense that we're paying an additional $30 in fees every month on top of your bill. I think we need to be very mindful of that. The other piece is when they approve Vogtle. I am not I won't say I'm not a fan of plant Vogtle, but the jury's still out with me on nuclear energy production. Yes, it's a little cleaner. Yes, it produces jobs. I'm all for that. But as a commissioner, I've got to think about your health. So those people in Waynesboro, Georgia, have to deal with a nuclear plant being in their backyard. You're not going to tell me that nuclear that goes into the air doesn't create problems. You're not going to tell me that. That's just not real. So their health is in danger. And our environment, if that plant ends up in a catastrophe, if a hurricane hits that thing the right way, we have a major issue on our hand. The other part that no one thought about is where do we put the nuclear waste? Are we going to do like we did with the coal ash and put them in the minority communities?
That's really how it works.
We're going to put the nuclear waste in Juliet, Georgia, where we already have toxic water. So we got to think about those things. And so part of what I want to do is start looking at data and start asking the questions that are not asked now. When you have 5 people around the table, so 5 Republicans who think alike and who are not going to push back, you need checks and balances. And Daniel and I are going to bring that checks and balances. Daniel and I are going to ask the hard questions. How does this impact customers in a positive way? For example, a rate increase rather. I've said it before, I said it everywhere I go. I will not vote for a rate increase unless I see how it benefits customers. And it's those small things alone are ways that we can begin the conversation of seeking change. But right now, what we have are 5 commissioners who continue to side with the Georgia Power and the natural gas companies and less for the public.
Fair enough.
Okay, so I live in a rural area. I live on like 6 acres, and out here,
some acres.
and out here, you have to pay for outside lighting. Like at least I would think that the first lighting would be free, right? Every lighting has to pay $15 per month just to have that light outside. Is that something you can work on? Because I'm lighting like probably the first part of my area. That's it. Everything else, I'm not even lit up. So how can we fix that as far as just at least maybe the first light or a discount on multiple lights? Because that's a heavy part of my bill.
Well, I think when we're trying to protect public safety, and you're talking now about a public safety issue, I think that falls in the hands of the municipalities. At the end of the day, if someone were to get injured on your property, let's say they're getting to their car and they fall over a stick because it's not lit properly, I'm not sure that they would have it would be fair to sue you or to hold you accountable. And so we've got to think about public safety, and I think that falls in the hands of the municipalities. So does that mean we automatically start charging cities? No, I don't, but I don't think we need to. What we have seen historically, let me get to this part, is ratepayers paying for the solutions. As a matter of fact, with the coal ash cleanup, Georgia Power is asking for the ratepayers to find a solution to clean up. And so in your case, the solution is we've got to add more lighting. We need to make sure that we have strong public safety. My stance on that would be let's provide adequate enough lighting that it provides enough public safety. To the point where you're like, well, I got 7 lights, I think I need an 8th. Well, if we're providing adequate lighting and you want an 8th, maybe we want to think a little differently, and that might be a piece we negotiate, or we say, well, maybe you want to buy that on your own. But there are certain standards that I think we need to have that have been passed on to the ratepayer, and I think we should look at that differently. So in your particular case, I would say we would work with your municipalities and the Georgia Powers or your electric provider in this particular situation to say, I think we need to find a way that we get this done without charging ratepayers.
Gotcha. And you said coal ash. What's that? Is that the ash that goes on the street?
Well, no. So right now we have not nuclear. We have industries, and for example, Georgia Power, the way they produce energy is by burning coal. And the way I like to kind of point it out for folks is all of us have seen a charcoal grill. And so when you burn charcoal, just like you burn coal, it turns to ash. The problem is when they burn that coal, it goes into the air. So now we're breathing it. And then it has to come down and settle. So it settles into our waterways, our lakes, our rivers. And if it's not treated properly, if the ground is not lined appropriately, that water full with toxins and all types of stuff can seep into our waterways. If it seeps into our waterways, guess what? We start drinking it, and we have an issue like we have in Flint, Michigan. We're right here by Tybee and the Savannah River, so we have an even bigger issue to think about. And so if you go Google coal ash ponds in Georgia, it's quite interesting to me where they're located. And they're located closely to communities of color. As a matter of fact, Georgia had a law on the book, y'all. Get this. There was a law on the book where it was cheaper for different states to bring coal ash from South Carolina, Florida, Alabama, wherever, and dump it in Georgia because we were charging a cheaper rate. And that's something our PSC agreed to. And so we've got to change that conversation. So, yeah, that's what coal ash does.
Real quick, so that's a very interesting point. So, what do you think is going to happen when you're definitely not going to advocate for minority communities to get those sort of wastelands anymore? Really, what do you think that could be the pushback? So, what's the compromise if you have to have a waste area, and it's not going to be the minority area for once? What is the compromise?
We need to find the people that produce that poison and that craziness. They need to figure it out. They need to find out where they're going to put it. Honestly, I don't think it needs to be in any community, because what happens, let's say we bury it somewhere in a rural area of Georgia or wherever. We found this open land and nobody uses it. Eventually, somebody's going to build on that, on top of that stuff. And so I think the power companies and those who use that coal should find a way to fix it. However, moving forward, we need to move away from fossil fuels.
Yeah.
As we see now, it creates bigger problems.
Yeah.
Daniel and I are proposing that we look at clean, sustainable energy, wind, solar, and hydro technologies. What we then do is we work with institutions like Savannah Tech and our technical college system of Georgia to retrain workers who are now in the coal industry and these other industries, and help retrain them at no cost to them through a partnership and through grants and funding that we can find outside or inside the state. And so we've got to move away from coal totally, because what it does is, check this out. We pay for the coal for Georgia Power. We pay for our own energy, and then we have to pay now to clean it up. That's crazy. Yeah. So we got to move away from fossil fuels and start looking at more sustainable, clean energy. But how do we deal with what we have now? We've got to hold those organizations accountable. And yes, they're going to push back. But I mean, at the end of the day, we work with organizations throughout the state, that environmental organizations, to push back on our own.
Good.
It's the funny thing about the coal ash, because I live in Effingham, and I think it was last year they had to test our roads because they use coal ash on all the old dirt roads. So instead of saving it, they use coal ash. So they had to go one by each road to test it. And mind you, these roads been like this since I've been in middle school, and that's a long time ago. And for them to just now be testing it, and that's real bad, because I never knew it. I never knew what they were using. I just thought it was just a typical thing that they did, but they took the cheap way out and literally put coal ash on all the back roads.
Yeah. Well, I would, if I had the time, if I was interested in that study, look at what communities and what materials were used. I'm sure we'll be using everything.
Robert, my problem is, why do we have to pay for new projects? Why do they have to give us a rate hike when they're already making $1 billion a year? Why do we? Walmart don't ask us for no pay hike if they build another store. And they're just as worse as they're getting something from us. We're using electricity, we paying them, but they're getting paid for this. They're overpaid. They, just like you just said, the CEO makes $4.5 million a year. I want to know why we got to pay for all the improvements.
That's because you have five folks on the board, and there's a website out there. I can't remember it, and I'll send it. I have it actually on my campaign page. There's a website that shows you how much has Georgia Power has contributed to each one of the current commissioners. You have 5 Republicans who are their friends, who get their money, who are bought by them. And so they're definitely not going to tell them, oh, you're going to pay for Plant Vogel. Oh, no, you've been taking care of me all these years. Why would you pay for Plant Vogel? We'll find a cute, nice way that we will keep it very quiet, and we'll pass it through. And part of that is because people don't understand. I didn't know this until Jay Jones brought it to my attention. I didn't know what a PSC did. And so the Public Service Commission has been a very quiet organization for years because people never thought there's a power above a Georgia Power and a natural gas company that tells them yes or no. So the Public Service Commission agreed to that. They approved that. When Plant Vogtle was being built, when you have 5 Republicans sitting around a table who all are bought by Georgia Power, they're definitely going to agree with Georgia Power. And that's the problem. They were not going to pass that buck to Georgia Power. As a matter of fact, go look at the headlines. It's on my webpage, and you can even Google it or YouTube it. Plant Vogtle is delayed constantly. Every time Plant Vogtle gets delayed, Georgia Power ratepayers are charged another $1 billion, meaning that's more years you'll be paying that fee. There's more years you're paying over $300 a month out of your annual pocket. I mean, that makes no sense. And so the answer to the question is, we've got to add people to the table at the planning table that says we're not going to pass the buck on to ratepayers. We're not going to do that, and that's what's been going on. They've been this good old boy system. We've been working along. As a matter of fact, my opponent did not expect the challenge that he got, and they've been just living this life for years. They've been living a lavish life. It's a 6-year appointment. They get to do what they want to do. They're bought by their homeboys. And guess what? If you're giving me $10,000, I'm definitely not going to go tell on you. And then with the position not being that popular, this is what I tell people all the time, y'all. The Senate and the congressional races and the mayor and those are very nice, sexy positions. The Public Service Commission is not a very sexy position that gets a lot of attention. And so they do a lot of these things and we're not thinking about it. And so we just got to take time and start digging and voting down ballot. That is so important. We've heard that all season long. Vote for every single position. And if you're scared, you don't know what that will be, do the research before you go. The information is out there. I tell people all the time, we Google all this other stuff, Google the positions. If you Google my name right now, you will see right now my opponent does not agree with the Green New Deal. There might be parts of the Green New Deal that may not be all that bad or all that good. But at the end of the day, we've got to move away from fossil fuels. And the reason why my opponent doesn't want to move away from fossil fuels is because his buddies are in there and they're fueling his campaign. So you got to think about it. It's a cycle. If you're patting me on the back, I'll pat you on the back and we won't tell on one another. But we got to change the dynamic, and you do that by voting in Daniel and myself at the ballot box.
We have a comment from Desi Stone. He says, coal ash, the residue level from burning coal to generate electricity, contains some very dangerous substances. And that's one of the things that, if they're just doing that, they're taxing us and getting rate hikes from us, and they're not cleaning up their environment, then what, I guess we need to burn some candles, really.
Go back to that kerosene days.
Yeah, they ain't gonna work this way because they harming us and taking our money.
Look, I got back, y'all, and I looked at my mom and dad's Georgia Power bill. I was floored. I'm talking about, you talking at least $250, $300 a month. And I'm like, what? Y'all make it's, and then you go look at the company and you see how much a CEO makes. Better yet, go look at Southern Company and how they're set up and what their CEO takes on. It's nuts.
Yeah, my cousin.
Saying, you got to pay for a service. Everybody gets that. You pay for a service. But we've lost our complete mind.
Yeah, I got a cousin just retired from the Southern Company as one of his vice presidents or something in Chicago. And I know they make a good little penny. All those CEOs and everybody there, and they, but this Public Service Commission has to do better. It does. Yeah.
And no fault. Most places we go, Daniel and I go, people are like, well, what is the PSC? And when you break it down that, Georgia Power can't just raise your rates. They have to get an approval through this particular process. People start to wake up. And so, I'm glad that he and I have had, that's been part of our fun part of it, is helping people to understand why this is important and why it matters to them. It matters because at the end of the day, I always tell people, as we talked about, your wallet matters, your health matters. But think about this. Every time a tree is cut down or every time we don't do the right thing by you, the environment is damaged. And so, cutting down a tree, doing biomass, again, the jury's still out. And biomass, by the way, is taking trees and burning it to create production. But that then increases our carbon footprint. And so, again, from a commissioner standpoint, we have commissioners that think more about filling the pockets of their friends, not thinking about labor unions, as I will, not thinking about your health and your monthly water, and not thinking about our environment. And again, that's a narrative we got to change immediately. Oh, I see, man. Look here, man. The man of Marcus Thompson, y'all. I just want to be like Marcus Thompson when I grow up.
Man, whatever. How are y'all doing?
Look here, if I had half the hour.
Not yet. What's going? Where's Orlando with that good lighting? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Y'all at the same place, ain't it?
Let me go find her. There he is. There he is. Hey guys, what's going on?
Rally go? How's the rally?
It's going well. It's going well.
Awesome.
Yes.
Okay, well, Mr. Marcus Thompson running for the House District 164. They're all out at a rally. They dropped in to give their last minute pushes before the election next Tuesday. You want to tell the viewing audience anything, Mr. Thompson?
Absolutely. So my name is Marcus Thompson. I am a candidate for Georgia State Representative District 164. We have the single most important, and I know everybody said it, I know everybody's heard it, but this is the single most important election in our lifetime. Now, I don't know if everybody has been completely tuned into politics the way that we always are. We're always neck deep, but when it comes down to it, it doesn't matter if you look at the news. It doesn't matter if you're involved in politics. It doesn't matter if you're paying attention. Your silence will not protect you. So if you don't go out and vote, and then the same people are in office again, 2020 is going to repeat itself all over again. Now, I don't know about y'all, but I'm ready to be done with 2020, period, point blank.
We all
period. Yes. I mean, just the other day, an administration said that they're not even going to try to contain the virus anymore. They can't control it. They're going to be focused on vaccines. Now, a viable vaccine is not going to even really be mobile or mobilized until 2021. My opponent has said he doesn't even trust the models. I mean, what is there not to trust? 8,000 Georgians dead, 225,000 Americans gone. Now, if that is not enough of a reason to get people out to vote, well, let me just give you one more. In Georgia, we've got a healthcare crisis. Black women in this state are dying at the highest rate in the nation outside of Louisiana. We've got to stop it. Now, my opponent's been in office for 23 years. He's done nothing to stop it. He won't do anything to stop it next year. So let's go ahead and let's let him retire and go home with his family. It's time. Let's do it, guys.
Okay. Awesome. Now we got Orlando Scott down at the bottom. Mr. Scott, 7th District. Tell us what's happening in the 7th District, sir.
Man, it's cooler and pooler. But but thank you. Hey, Julius, first of all, thank you for all you do. ATR, Charles, Ms. Brown, Charlie Brown, the whole crew. I mean, you guys are awesome. You guys are number one with getting information out to the people. Boots on the ground, and we really appreciate it. So, 7th District, Marcus, incumbent, has been in office 23 years, I believe. My incumbent is 20 years, so almost just as long. And doing the same thing over and over is and expecting a different result is the definition of insanity. And I want to bring a new vision to District 7. I always talk about infrastructure, but one of the things I want to talk about is services for our youth and elderly. In the unincorporated area on the west side, there are no athletics for our youth and no life skill classes. And you're starting to see the push out of Savannah. There's a certain group that's trying to take over Savannah, so we're getting a population push to the west side. So there's a need for homelessness shelters, domestic abuse. I spoke with a pastor this past weekend, and there's a need for domestic abuse, excuse me, facilities, accessibility to the commissioner for all residents, not just for a certain group. And accessibility, especially in that Quaco Road section where there has been neglection for years and years and years. I have vision around public transportation that's needed on the west side, and making sure our workers are so for county contracts, we're not going out of town getting outside contractors to fulfill these jobs, making sure it stays here on the west side in Savannah, in Chatham County. So I'm encouraged. Voter turnout has been off the chain, even in District 7. The numbers are looking really good. So I'm encouraged about what's going to happen next week. And we're going to bring it home all the way down the line, So thank you again. God bless you, and thank you for everything you've done.
All right, tell everybody at the rally we say hi, and y'all send pictures.
We will.
Hey, real, can I add one more thing to that?
Yes, sir. Go ahead.
I just want to let everybody know what District 164 consists of. It's Pooler. It is Richmond Hill. It's Bloomingdale, a small part of Hinesville, and West Savannah. So if you are anywhere in that time in that range, I'll show up on your ballot. And if you haven't already talked about Robert Bryant over here, I know this man personally. I know him fraternally, and I know he is a solid man. I know that he's going to fight for everyone, especially when it comes to lowering your utility bills and getting broadband access to rural locations. And guess what? We can work together on that because that's what my background is in. So yes. So if you have a state representative, a commissioner, and a public service commissioner all on the same team, we can make real measurable change happen.
And before, if I may, before these gentlemen go, let me tell you what you see tonight that you won't see from the current leadership. People working together. You heard what Brother Thompson just said, working together with the ideas. We put Joyce in Congress. We got Marcus at the state level. We got me at the state level. We got Reverend Warnock. We got Orlando Scott. Come on, folks. This is a recipe of we're setting the model for what we should be seeing right now in Washington. And we will have the recipe right here in Georgia. We can set the model in Georgia if we just put the right people in place. These two gentlemen here have been running up and down the state, making connections with folks, people who are running in the same seats that they're running in. We've been talking with folks. They even know Daniel Black. Daniel Blackman lives in Forsyth, Georgia. They have already met with Daniel Blackman. That's the leadership you want moving forward. That's what you vote for. People who understand how to work together.
That's right.
And
let's get it.
I know that they're running scared because did y'all see the negative campaign ad that Ron has put out on my?
Yeah, they're running scared. Put my opponent on that. Yeah, Marcus got me in trouble.
Man, look.
All that's telling us is that they're
I ain't even having to do it wrong.
If they're scared, we're gonna win it.
Man, we're gonna win it. He's running scared, man, and Kick Lighter is too. You know what I mean? Meg Heap, she's running scared too. I figured when they gave me that the peace sign negative ad, I figured I was in good company. You know what I mean? This is where when they have to stoop to the point where they have to use racist dog whistles in order to get reelected, that is a staggering lack of leadership. That means you look at your record and said, you know what, this is not good enough for me to get back into office. Let me go out here and dig in the dirt a little bit. So yeah.
How could they used the peace sign twice for Selena Jones and also you as if it was a negative thing at all? And that's the part that confuses me. How could a peace sign be construed as negative at all unless you add the skin color to scare people? It's just amazing.
Yeah, it's stereotypical.
Right.
It's stereotypical because it's a culture thing. But guess what? Next Tuesday, we're going to be throwing out a lot of deuces. Seeing peace to these jokers, getting them out the office.
And that one and the thumb too.
Yeah.
Oh, Orlando,
Man,
my mom, I was talking to her the other day. She said that we are related. We're cousins, me and you.
Who are you speaking with?
You, Orlando, my mom said we're related. Yeah,
oh, really?
You know it.
Wow.
I think,
who's your mom?
Is your wife a twin?
Yes.
Yep. You was at the last family reunion.
Wow.
Well, you got a vote there.
How about that? Tell mom hello and thank you. But I have to get your mom's name after the show.
Will do.
But y'all, let me tell you. So talk about, they had to go start looking for ways to win. Your boy had Governor Deal endorsing it there. I said, boy, you had to dig way back on that one, Governor Deal.
Wow.
If we don't like Kemp, we damn sure don't like Deal.
You can say that again, bro. Yes.
You're right about that. But Kemp and Deal know that this is their. They know that it's time for all the Republicans to go. Trump has been our biggest motivator and he's been our biggest motivator to get people out because everybody see the hate, everybody see what he's doing, and so they go into the polls in droves now. So it helps everybody down ballot, and especially like we're telling everybody, vote straight Democratic ticket. We need to show them how to govern because nobody's putting checks and balances in. And it goes all the way from the White House all the way down to the State House. Because if you see that they're doing something and you're not checking it on this level, and it's happening up here, and so you can send them a message, then you need to be gone too. So just like Trump, we need to get rid of all those people, Ron Stevens, Petrea, all the rest of them, they all need to be gone.
Mm-hmm.
No.
And
so we're going to have a good day Tuesday.
Yeah, we're going to have a good day Tuesday because when it comes down to it, man, we've got, the registration. I was just talking to Joyce Marie Griggs, which is going to kill it in the 1st district. But she was saying that there are 11,000 new registrants. Just in my district, there were 3,154 new registered voters between the ages of 18 and 38. Now, what does that tell you? We coming from them seats. That's what's happening.
Yeah, we're just talking about that blue wave. Yeah, blue wave is coming for sure.
And Marcus and Orlando, really quick, I tell people this, I will be out there with you all, but some people know and some people don't. But I'm here caretaking. I do part-time caretaking, but I will be out there with you, gentlemen. But every week I try to make it a family day, so I just take care of mom and dad stuff. And and I want viewers to know that mom is dealing with Alzheimer's, so that's very important to me that one day is set aside for them. But I'll be out there with you, gentlemen.
Okay.
You're hearing all right.
All right,
bro. That's what Zoom is for. That's what this platform is for, bro. No doubt.
Oh yeah.
Family first. Family first.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, well, y'all hit the trail. Make sure y'all be out there in them corners waving. We need every vote because every vote counts. Because we know that it's going to be close, so we got to get it done.
That's right.
Any other candidates at that rally that need to talk to us? Tell them to give me a call or hit the duck.
All right.
All they got to do is
definitely will.
Once they press the duck, they're in the studio.
All right.
The duck.
All right.
Hey, let's do it, guys. Let's chuck them deuces on Tuesday.
Deuces.
All right, y'all.
All right. Robert left too. Okay, I didn't know Robert was gonna leave. Yeah, he was gonna stay. But okay, we supposed to have a few other people that might drop in. Our hosts, two of our hosts are in a meeting. One is in a work meeting, one is in a CCDC meeting. So we have to, and the other one is still out sick. So you got the three of us. So y'all got to talk about something, and we're about to get it started. What's the first topic tonight?
We want to talk about the 2020 elections, local and national, of course. The big one is Biden versus Trump. That's a scary one because it's going to be an immovable object in the White House that might not leave. So that's going to be something we're going to deal with locally because he has a whole lot of soldiers here that's pretty hyped up right now. They're traveling with their flags. They're like gang members right now. You see them clicked up around town. They're very dangerous. I don't know why no one's talking about how dangerous this little clique of people are, but they're violent. They're aggressive. They're not scary, but they're definitely violent. But yet they get to move around the city. But yet any other gang wouldn't be able to do that. So we should definitely talk about that. But we'll be looking for them.
I've been in the house, so I don't see anybody. I don't pay them no attention.
Well,
Have you ever put yet?
you say you don't. Yeah, me both on. Yeah, you say you don't pay them any attention. Yeah, they well, you know, like they try to make you pay attention to it. By agitating you, calling your names, and some more stuff. And people have to do like you're doing, just ignore them. Either don't slap the shit out of them. But but I would advise not to do the latter. Not right now. But they agitate people to the point where it's just crazy. You have very long lines. We are imploring people to go out and vote. Go out and vote. We had we got a call come in.
Good evening,
Hey,
everybody. Hey,
what's
how's it
happening?
going?
What's happening?
Everything's good.
Yes, sir. Glad to see you here.
Good to be here.
Carl, what are your thoughts on the trend of Trump gangs around the city, showing up to events they weren't invited to with their flags and their guns in the truck? What do you think about that?
I mean, I don't think a whole lot about it other than they're just trying to instigate people. You know,
Yeah.
I'm glad it didn't play out that way. You're speaking of what happened at Savannah State, right?
Yeah, basically.
Right.
Yeah, I've seen them down on downtown a few times, and also Midtown, just kind of having little small rallies, about 10, 15 people at a time.
Yeah. Well, actually, they've been doing this for the last couple of weeks or so. There were some folks on Abercorn and DeRenne waving flags. Matter of fact, the same guy who, when we were down at City Hall, the white guy, I recognize him.
He is. Yep.
He's the same guy who was out there when we was, up front at City Hall. Heck, when we were down in Florida, heck, they had a motorcade down there when we had, spent the weekend down there a couple of weeks ago. They had motorcades with flags and Trump flags. I mean, they're trying to energize their base.
Vote rally.
Yeah, they had the boat rally with the crashed boats that time too. No.
Okay.
They had a boat rally in Savannah?
No, I think it was here in Savannah. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, here in Savannah. Yep.
Wait a minute. You say they had a boat rally?
Yeah, there was a boat rally here in Savannah. I remember Tamuka had a boat. That's right. Tamuka had his boat. That's right. Sure did.
Oh, okay. Hey, they going all out.
Yeah.
They had one the other day where I think it's this weekend. In Richmond Hill, they got a caravan and a boat, boater van or something like they call it, a sailor van or whatever they said. They're going to be going up and down the river with all their Trump stuff, and they're going to be after that, 2 hours later after they get through with that, they're going to do that early in the morning. Then they're going to be with a caravan all through the city. But we got a caravan this week also. I implore everybody to come and join at Styles and Gwinnett.
Right, Styles and Gwinnett.
At 11:30 is what time everybody will get there. We'll start lining up, giving everybody their numbers where they'll be, how they'll be lined up so we can go out. And then we're going to have as long as it is, a long tail. We're going to go out through the whole city with all the Democratic signs and everything. STILES. And so we're gonna the caravan leaves at 12:30 on the dot. It leaves at 12:30. We're telling people to be at Styles and Gwinnett in your vehicle. You can have your signs on it. You can have anything. If you're with a candidate, come out. 11:30 is the time that we'll start up. At 12:30, they're pulling out of the parking lot, the big parking lot right there where the food town used to be at, and the church there now. It's enough room to put a couple of hundred cars there, and we'll leave there at 12:30 on the dot and go throughout the city. And so we implore everybody to come and join us. Okay, that's by Black Voters Matter, APRI. A. Philip Randolph Institute, BEMA, ATR. Everybody is going to be in this thing. We're just trying to make a big, long caravan. So, and we ask everybody to come out. If you're there early, you get these neat Biden-Harris signs. You get the neat yard signs that we got for you. I think Jay got some bumper stickers. Get all those things on Saturday. And right after that, we have a prep rally. We got 2 pep rallies on Saturday and Sunday at 3 or 4 o'clock, 3 o'clock or something like that at the May Street Y on Saturday. After the caravan ends, we're gonna stop at the May Street Y, I believe, for the pep rally. And on Sunday, the pep rally is at Montgomery. At MLK and Gwinnett. And in the Congress Temple thing after they have church, I believe. So I guess that's what I'm told. But we'll give that information out later because we'll be broadcasting. All
right. So we got the Jill Biden rally that happened this week. What did they do? Monday? 2 days ago? Was it Monday? Yeah, Monday evening. We know we had a nice turnout for Jill Biden. There were some Trump supporters that came out towards the end, of course, caused a ruckus. A little bit of a scuffle ensued. The Trump people ran out, and we tried to. I wasn't there, but there was a separation of the crowd. Nothing major happened. I don't think anybody was arrested, but it was just an interference of a peaceful protest by the Trump supporters. They came with bullhorns and mega horns and cowbells to disrupt the crowd and say a lot of negativity. Of course, that warranted a lot of back and forth, and in the end, there was a scuffle. I don't think anyone was hurt. I think someone was hit with a flag or something like that. But yeah, no one was taken to the hospital or anything like that. So is that a successful rally in today's times? You know, nobody went to the hospital, nobody was shot. It's kind of what you expect nowadays for attention to grow and grow and grow. This environment is getting spookier. I think the president's going to create this cloud of like doubt before he leaves, or I hope he gets voted out. But if he doesn't leave, what kind of energy would that leave in Savannah, especially? It's like a powder keg here. We've already seen a lot of what do I say? A lot of hostility already building on the city with the last week incident with the guy throwing a canister of gas upon the protesters and pulling a gun out. You have the Trump guys walk around downtown with rifles on their shoulders like it's nothing. So we have to be careful here, but don't be scared. Just be careful.
And you know, they come out for a reason. They want to agitate you. If they wanted to really do something, they should have stood on the corner of LaRoche and Skidaway and just waved Trump flags. But they came out there and they were instigating these young kids. And you're talking about young kids in college. They're not going to stand for a lot of stuff. And it's not like, 1950 and 1940. These kids are ready to fight, especially if they are being agitated, especially if they're being mocked and irritated. These people were calling them names, telling them that the only decent black man ever was Obama. They were irritating them on purpose. And I blame the law enforcement for that. And I blame law enforcement for that because they came early enough for the law enforcement to tell them that they had to be a block away. Why put them on the same campus? Yeah. Whenever the president is speaking or the any candidate, when Donald Trump was speaking and we wanted to protest 4 years ago, you had to be almost a mile away. A mile away. Now they put these kids, I don't know whether somebody knew what the real protocol was or what, but they put these kids, these protesters on the campus, which they should have said, no, you all go across the street, or you all go up to the intersection, or you all find someplace, not on the same, in Island. I know it was an Island eyesight of where she was speaking because my wife was there and she turned around and filmed them. They should have never been that close. They should have never been in sight of one another, ever. Somebody should have been in the stadium and the other ones could have been out. And that's what they should have did. But since these COVID-19 times, we couldn't facilitate that.
Yeah, also point out, what were they going to do there? That wasn't the time to recruit new Trump voters. It's not the time to. It's just to incite something: anger, violence, pain. They weren't going to pull any Trump voters out of that crowd. They weren't doing anything to solicit for Trump. They were literally showing that Trump can bring hate. He can bring passion of hate in a following to any group. So to have them across the street from each other, it was just literally asking for it. It's classic, yelling across the street. You're going to ask for a fight. You're going to ask for someone to get agitated enough to throw something or hurt somebody. So I mean, that's a lot of lack of common sense from whoever let them in the gate, for one, and then secondly, to not monitor it and ensure that the police are backing up the whole time so that never happened. But I don't know if they wanted violence, but they definitely didn't do much to stop it.
What happened to kid? You gotta turn both of them off when you talk. I know, but you gotta turn both of them off at the same time. Carl, where you at? All we see is the ceiling. Oh, you eating? Hey, I'm hungry myself. Hey, but I know you can't tell me you don't have nothing on that because you don't know nothing about it. Charles has some video. No, you don't have video of that, do you? Okay, no. We didn't have the video of that. We didn't pull that one up, but we do have a video, but we didn't have time to put that on of what was going on out there because it was kind of chaotic, and we had our DA candidate that was out there trying to calm it down and restore the peace. And I commend Shalana Cook Jones for even being there in the middle of that trying to help and calm those kids down, because she did an awesome job of not letting it get out of hand, and she was, there telling the kids to just, don't. She just kept telling them don't, because the kids were being irritated by these people. They were being challenged by these people. And when you challenge a young black man in these and female in these days, you're going to get a fight, and they will fight you. What's your take, Charles? I mean, Carl.
Well, like you said, then again, where I'm just coming from, so I apologize. I had to get it in, but yeah, like we quick to say that we're not our ancestors, and I understand the statement, but still, we must realize that when they went out to peaceful protests, they were already conditioned to deal with certain things, and I'm not trying to minimize what happened yesterday, but I'm just trying to, bring to light, like back in the 50s or the 60s, where they had to actually be trained to endure someone actually hitting them or spitting on them or whatever. But now we're not using those tactics. But still, you're right. That's the sole purpose that the Trump supporters went out there to do, is to agitate and actually, incite. Actually, they went out there and incited a riot. I mean, I don't think that's even too strong of words for what their intent was. So I
You're
wasn't
right.
there, but I wasn't there, and I'm not just using that not to have an opinion. From what I could see, that's what was going on. They were clearly out there to agitate, to incite the young folks to, resort to violence, and then they, use a narrative. Okay, you see, they don't know how to act. They're acting like animals or whatever. But from what I can understand, it didn't work. So that's a good thing.
Yeah. If they were at Albany State when you was their kid, what would happen?
Oh Lord, Albany State, Savannah State, they control themselves really good. I mean, Albany State, we control
Which is a
ourselves
good
good
thing.
too. But I'm just thinking, like on election night, the police was fine with us, like standing on the police vehicles, happy and stuff. But as far as them, like Trump supporters on our campus, they wouldn't have got past the gate, number one. So that's another thing. How did they even get that far? How did they even get on campus?
Somebody not knowing what the hell they were doing.
But we already know what the deal is. You're not going to see Trump supporters in North Waters Avenue, even though it's gotten a little gentrified or whatever. You're not going to see that on MLK and in Gwinnett. Them waving. I just don't think it's going to. I
You
don't think
gotta
it's.
be, you gotta be a real
I
brave
just,
person
I
to
just don't think it's
come
going to
all
what
these
happened like
some mess like that.
or even on Augusta Avenue. You think they'll travel down Augusta Avenue,
Yeah,
Julius?
no. They ain't coming on Augusta Avenue. Just like they didn't go when Kamala Harris was when Kamala Harris was
Okay.
in. I want the next one. They should have had that damn thing in Caton Home. That's
That's
what
what
they
I'm
should have had.
talking about,
They
man.
should have had it on the corner of 39th and Burroughs. Let them carry their ass to the hood. Talking about they want to go down
They
there
can take it
and do something.
downtown. Go in Yamacraw up there with them Trump flags. Let's see how
Yeah,
that
yeah. Go
turn
down
out.
to Yamacraw with it. That's where they ought to
Yeah,
have it at from now on.
yeah,
You
yeah,
know. So if you want to come down here and protest.
yeah.
They got some people that gonna show you what protest is. You know. Yeah, but yeah, that's just something that we got to go through because we're not planning this out the way that it needs to be planned for the things that we need to be doing. Um, and that's part of the whole problem. We're not unified to to uh, do the things to defend ourselves. I don't want a shootout, but you have to show these people. See, they come with guns and everything, and they don't think that nobody else owns a gun but them because they with the National Rifle Association, I guess.
Well,
I guess.
Do you think we're gonna have to deal with any violence here in Savannah? Do you think these people ready for all that? They can go that far?
Savannah gotta stop being so compassionate for the people against them. We're so quick to give a hug the whole time they got a knife in their hand. Like, why are we so compassionate? Just no. I don't like that about us. That's one thing I don't like. It's okay to not get along. Like, y'all don't have to be at each other's necks, but stop being so overly loving and naive and then acting so surprised when they turn that knife in your back. Like, why we act so surprised? We do the same thing over and over again. I don't get it. I don't get it.
Exactly. That is exactly.
That's like getting a pet snake and acting surprised when the snake bites you. Like, it makes
if they're gonna do that to us, then you can't be surprised when we act. We're always the first ones to extend the olive branch to people who have wronged us. I say this all the time. If you have killed me and my family and a whole lineage of my family for 400 years, and now you want me to be the forgiving one, you saying, oh, that wasn't me. But you're still showing the same tendencies. You're not doing it with a knife or a gun no more, but you're doing it in other ways, through a job, through the bank, or some other kind of way that you're doing it. And it's still you, because it is something that's passed down in history. You know, we just got to deal with it in a different way. We got to start standing up.
Yes, modern day oppression, modern day slavery. It's modern stuff now. Same stuff, just a different time.
Yeah.
Modern day fear. Everything else is built in the same way. I feel like we might reach out and get nice to them quicker because we always feel like we can't get as far as we want to without their help, per se. So until we build our own agencies that we can use without them at all, we'll keep on having to build those branches and relationships just so we can get ahead also. So we can't stay in the mud. We got to get pulled out. And we think that olive branch might help us get out of that thing. So, I don't know. I just feel like...
Charles, it's just... Well, not just you, Charles, but it's just unfortunate.
Somebody's pretending like they love you a little bit, you know, but when you find out that it's not real, that's when you like, damn it, strikes again, you know, it's like, and then you sit looking at yourself like, that's why it's like that. That's why you can't trust. That's why you shouldn't trust. We have a corporate this week that was very surprising. And I don't have to say your name, but the same thing applies. Like, you know, conversations that you feel like they might have been an ally. You learn that they had no intention of really doing anything.
I done told you about that. I done told you about that. Everybody ain't a smiling face, ain't there to help you.
Yeah.
So, I'm really not surprised by it, by some of the actions that were displayed this week. I'm not that surprised. I question everything.
So she put on a hell of a show. It was. I think that Savannah, if people really come study what's happening here and how things are working out, this city is like really going through something. It's going through a real like metamorphosis. Like a butterfly might come out of this thing. Maybe it's even gonna get a brown moth.
A moth,
or like a beautiful butterfly. Like there's a real change, and it's happening on Zoom meetings, and we're seeing a lot of clips. If somebody took the hours and hours of clips of Savannah meetings. All these things that keep getting interrupted, like these leaders that keep getting interrupted in their daily, like normal stuff, and what's happening to them when they get caught on camera. It's like a documentary ready to happen here in Savannah. Next 2-3 years, it's gonna be real different here. I have a really good feeling about that because they're bucking the system heavy here.
And not just Savannah, but everywhere. Like I tell everybody that 2020 has been a great year to really sit back and observe, you know, stuff around you, the people around you. Before COVID, we didn't really look into stuff like we look into now because we really don't have nothing else to do. Yep. So this is like the best time, and people are showing their true colors. We're really paying attention to policies, politics, things in our community. So 2020 in itself has been a blessing, really.
One thing we haven't been able to do is like really get the community to come out and really activate. And I say again what I said last week, because we don't need them to. We don't really need them to. We just really need the voices that can talk to the leaders, so you really talk to the leaders and tell them the right stuff, because the people aren't going to be able to see the march anywhere. There's going to be small crowds if you're ever waiting on a big one. It's not going to be a big enough crowd to scare anybody. We just got to get the leaders involved now, the real leaders. So we're gonna have to elect them next cycle.
We need some stand-up leaders, not the ones who are going to sit back and wait for us to do stuff. Leaders who can take some initiative to do things, get some stuff together.
Yeah, and that's what we have to do as a calling out in the Democratic committee, and it's a lot of changes that we need to implement. Our newest member is Charles right there. He's going to be, well, he's about to be our newest member for the 6th district.
Oh, that's great. That's great.
Yeah.
Guys, I'm getting my foot in the door a little bit, Carl. Just a little taste of it. You know what I'm saying? I don't know how much that can take, but I'm gonna start small. You know, I don't play that nice. I'm gonna try to make it to a few meetings though.
Well, who knows, Charles? You may be the next 6th district city alderman.
I wouldn't mind that at all. Next 3 years or so, if something like that would happen, it'd be because like the people really said they need.
Hell, if it was next week, it would be good. You know, but I know that's not even feasible. But
not
compared to what we got, you know, who's the 6th district alderperson?
On Black Lives Matter hat on, they're gonna post that on a postcard saying, "Be scared of this black guy in your district." So this is the one they're gonna use right here. My Black Lives Matter hat and my peace sign is gonna be super scared of somebody.
You will have enough black and progressive votes to get you in there. Savannah is a progressive city.
Yep, boy, 55% right now, right? Yeah,
well,
that's
what
a
they
blue
say.
wave, no matter what they say. That's why that red wave is so guns on their shoulders everywhere. They're trying to intimidate people. Nobody's scared though.
Yeah, you know, the Democrats just, you know, they just need to start playing by the same rules that the opposition playing by. You know, I mean, it's just plain and simple.
It ain't hard to follow their blueprint. You know, talk some stuff, get a rifle. That's all they got. So, I'm not 1 iota shocked on who is behind that conspiracy, because she was actually a vice chair about 8 years ago, and the committee had to kick her off because she was actively campaigning for a Republican back then. So, you know, I do believe in giving people second chances or whatever. But yeah, still, if you show me once, you know, I'm going to remember, you know, so I'm not shocked at all of what happened. And as a matter of public record, I don't know if you got off the call or not, although her term expired 12/31, the committee had ruled to expel her. Okay.
So she's off she's not a post seat holder anymore.
That's good. That was done today, Carl?
Yeah, that was done tonight.
Wow. Yeah.
Julie, she probably got off the call before the vote went down.
She wasn't present for that, was she?
No. See what now?
She wasn't present for the vote, was she?
No. She didn't show up on. She didn't show up on the Zoom call.
Yeah. Thought she would rep her black college again, her black school.
No, you know, and I'm what she doing. She was doing whatever at Clark Atlanta, get her PhD. Man, shut up.
But see, I'm gonna try to keep this clean. People will be romantically involved with you and all kind of foolishness, but that don't mean that they're hard in the right place. I'm not shocked one bit. I'm just not.
Right.
I'm not. Whoa! I don't know what happened. This shit, I'm on my phone.
Mike, I know that that we were a little upset, and probably some people still are, but I do have to take my hat off to the fight that Melinda Hodge and Antoine Lang put up yesterday. I was one of their biggest critics. Me, Charles, we stayed on. ATR stayed on. But yesterday I was really proud of what they did. I was there. I saw it for myself live. I was sitting in the room for the entire meeting, for the entire hearing, and they really saw something that I don't think they ever witnessed before. And they saw who these people were, and they realize now that they are sent there to be Democratic advocates. No Republican is voting for them. They're voting. They're there to protect the Democratic side. It is the only position that I think there is where you are nominated only by your side. Nobody else the Republicans don't care about you. So you're supposed to do everything to advocate for our side. And so they saw that yesterday because Ms. Mims and Ms. Rowers, they did what they were supposed to do. They didn't give a damn about the evidence. They didn't give a damn about nothing. They showed you that they were partisan. They were sent there by the Republican Party, and the Republican Party sent them there to do something, and they did it. They didn't care about nothing else. Procedures, policies, nothing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah. So I was gonna tell Lane he did a great job yesterday, and Hodges did a great job yesterday. They have to be accountable, like the wife said, Mr. Burke, for what they didn't do a few weeks ago, a few years ago, a few months ago. Those things did add up, and they added up to the point where Mahoney was so confident that he gave that sort of reaction to them, like, "What's happening, you guys? You've been feeding me this whole time. Now you want to stand up? This is weird to me, Lane." Yeah, they literally saw the monster they created in action in front of everybody. So they have to be careful. Now we are happy that they stood up for themselves and the Democrat Party. Yesterday, they did a great job. It was like a show of watching Matlock or something. It was great. But the truth is, not to say they could have prevented all of everything that happened with Mahoney because he's a powerful guy apparently. But truthfully, they had a play in the fact that he was still there that day for that arraignment or that I'm hearing. So again, they're not responsible for Mahoney and his actions. But still, again, they did their part yesterday. But there's other parts that played ahead of that time that they're responsible for also. It's not all good.
Well, yeah, I would be super, super critical because a lot of things that could have changed in the beginning, they should have paid attention way before they were even elected. But I am happy that they are finally waking up and doing what we, elected them to do. So I am proud of them yesterday for the most part.
Well, I guess I'm
going to be. Let me ask them, Carl. I know we're told we're critics and we don't know this and we don't know that, but we watch what we see. And if anyone has any problems, they can come here every week and talk to us about it. It's really that simple. So yeah, don't just put that out there.
Okay. Well, my take on it is, for one thing, they already knew Mahoney and how he carried meetings and his character, so actually they didn't have any other choice but to respond the way they did yesterday. So, personally, I can't give them any kudos for that because really what they did had no effect on the outcome of what happened yesterday. The true champion yesterday was Will Claiborne for how he basically told Mahoney and that whole process to pieces. They weren't following Robert's Rules of Order. I mean, I didn't see the whole proceeding, and I can understand the sentiment for saying, well, hey, they fought a good fight. Well, for one thing, if you're being strategic, why even put yourself in a position to lose? You were already set up to fail anyway by hiring Mahoney as chair of that board of election. And Melinda was on this show a few weeks back and trying to convince me that Mahoney didn't have any power. And I already know what the deal is. When I say he had voting power, he did. And they said, well, you can only use it when it's time for to break a tie. Well, look what happened. They set themselves up. They should have never agreed to put Mahoney in there. They had qualified candidates. And yeah, I was one of the candidates, but who applied for that position. But I'm not just saying me. It didn't have to be me, but anybody except someone who was going to follow through with that. Mahoney was basically a district attorney. He was acting as a prosecutor for Tony Rabble, and he didn't give a damn about the voters of the second district. That is a disgrace. Is a travesty. That was just a straight up kangaroo court. Every piece of information, every piece of evidence that Will had put before the hearing, Mahoney didn't want to hear it. He didn't even want to have the people from the second district to speak. That was just a disgrace. So no, I can't give them credit for that. They didn't even show up at the meeting at the Democratic committee tonight. But so I don't know if their eyes are open or not. But yet still, what has happened, and if the people see what's happening, if you keep doing the same thing, you're going to get the same results. So that's my take on it.
I think that I believe that they might have issues facing the people right now, because again, I think they're seeing the light and they did their part, what they felt like was their part yesterday. And it might not be easy to get the heat constantly about what they're doing. I just hope that they keep going forward with these things, like keeping Mahoney accountable, talking about the steps he's taking on the turn, standing up to him at least. At least when it goes down to the vote again, they might say something and do something different this time. They feel something different this time. But again, I hope that they can start facing people. We're not really trying to trash them and embarrass them. It's more about it's just really important. This is not the time or the place to sit around and be careful in Savannah. This is the time to do what you guys do and say what you got to say. Because if they get their way, they'll keep running railroads around us all over the place and just do what they want to do. So they need to keep standing up. Don't be scared of us, though, because we're not here to hurt you. We're not here to scare you. We're not here to call you names. We just want to say, hey, you have a job to do. You for that job. We're watching you do it or not do it. And when you don't do it, we get to say something. And I'm a critic, absolutely. But I'm going to do it every time. So I just want to put that out there.
Like if they would have did everything that they should have did in the beginning, not voting him in, did what they said they were going to do when they got into office, stayed on top of everything, we wouldn't be where we are right now. So it's a cause and effect. If we did our due diligence in the beginning, we wouldn't be where we are now. So now it's like a cleanup thing right now.
Well, I think, from being in the room and from hearing their takes earlier, Melinda's like my niece. She is a very smart young lady, and I couldn't understand for the world why, when we were having this dialogue some months back, that she didn't understand what I was telling her, that she's not there to represent all the people. That's not her job. She's there to represent the Democratic Party. And I think she got that yesterday, because she saw how partisan it was. And you have to go in there and represent the party that sent you there. That is your job. If I work for Burger King, I can't go in there repping Crystals. I cannot do it. And I think they got it now. So, I might can rep McDonald's fries, but I can't rep Crystals. But the thing is, because I understand, and I understand what you're saying, Carl, but and Zakia, but from I don't think they understood until that man treated them like a dog yesterday. I'm serious. If y'all were there, I was shocked. This man had no regard for their positions. He talked like, y'all didn't put me here, I put me here, and the hell with y'all.
See, I'm different from them, because if a person pinched me, I know you're trying to hurt me. I don't need you to try to, shoot me for me to understand that we're not in the same, level, or we're not in the same playing field. People shouldn't have to go through these extremes just to get your attention or to show you exactly where your place is with them. They should have saw that from the beginning with the small things. It shouldn't be this big old thing and this big old public thing for them to embarrass you publicly, for you to finally understand, like, hey, I need to be with the party that sent me here, not trying to appease everybody, because everybody didn't send you to the office.
Mahoney, he understands, but he's racist. He's like, I understand what you got to hype about. I understand.
Mahoney understands. completely.
Yeah, he understood he was all over the place. He understood he wasn't following any rules, breaking every sort of organizational rule. But he said, I can't allow it. I'm partisan and I'm racist. I can't allow you guys to do any of the stuff you want to do. I was sent here to be partisan and racist. I understand, Lane. I'm not going to stop, Lane. You're not going to make a point with me, Lane. I'm racist, Lane. That's all he kept doing. He couldn't stop himself. There's nothing else to say there. They have a place in this society. They're not going to change it. They're not going to adjust for us. But we shouldn't adjust for them. We got to just keep doing what we're supposed to do and calling them out until they're gone. It's not going to change. We're not going to make that man change. Sorry.
We just have to. I can't be that hard on them because I talk to both of them all the time.
No, you can't do that. It doesn't matter. You still got to hold responsible. You can't give them a little bit.
Yeah, no. Listen to what I'm saying. I understand that I don't believe they understood the magnitude of their job. They can't be. You can't just keep kicking the horse. They put Mahoney in there, and now Mahoney showed them who he is. He really showed them this time. Before there was things that they were doing to pacify, and I had a long conversation with Melinda about this, and she was saying that she's there for all the people, and I was trying to tell her, no, you're not. So now she understands, and she sees it that it is a partisan job, and before you take this job, you need to understand that this is a partisan job.
Make sure you put your paper in that machine.
They want a whole lot of all lives matter rhetoric in the mix so that when we make decisions, we do think about everybody else and they get more votes in that way, but they're not thinking about us when they make decisions. And I'm not saying we need to be selfish and only think of ourselves per se, but we have to get to a level playing field and then start talking about everybody. But as long as they don't let us get to the equal playing field to begin with, we can't talk about everybody until we catch up. So once we catch up and those people aren't playing us down for nothing, then we talk about all lives matter and all these counties matter and all these districts matter once our districts matter, but they don't yet.
And
that's
I think both of them on. But we like I said, I just look at it a little different because not just because I talk to both of them all the time. I look at it different because I believe that we got to judge you by what you do from the day forward when you learn, especially when somebody kick you in your ass. You got to, when somebody really kick you in your butt and you was loving them, then you really understand. It's like love. Let somebody hurt you. You understand what it is once they hurt you. And you understand that you can't trust that person to do you right no more sometimes.
It's funny you say that, Mr. Julius. I want to segue into a video we have, two videos we have. But you said, when it comes to police in America, for instance, we're told to love those cops. They're humans. All lives matter.
We can't hear you.
If the cops represent another country and we saw that country constantly do things to America, we say we don't like that country or F that country. But if we say that to cops and we have 100, 200, 3,000 examples of why we're saying that and how could you ignore that, what do we do when we're being told to ignore what we literally feel? We're being told, no, ignore what you feel. Cops are actually good. I don't know what you're talking about because they're good to me. So let's ignore that they're actually bad cops who are harming you. We have so many examples of our lives not being taken for granted in every way. It's like he's black. I have a gun. If I discharge my weapon, it's probably okay. Versus no value. Like our lives It's almost routine. It's almost like there's a video I want to show, but I must tell you guys, it's not suitable for children at all. It's literally the death of a man. So I'm gonna go ahead and play this if you guys are ready. 1 second. All right, again, this video is very graphic, but I'm gonna play it. It pauses, but it comes back. That's the only one I'm showing right now. Oh, matter of fact,
Same thing.
okay, yeah. So so it happened yesterday. You know, it's a classic case of he has a weapon, he's black. That's really all they need to kill him. But yet, when we see weapon in white man's hand, there's 100 things they can do to calm him down. Say his name 100 times. John, it's okay. John is gonna be fine. John, let's not do this today. They'll run from him for 20 minutes before they even do anything to him. But yet, a black man is so powerful with a knife that two men, maybe 12 feet away, need to be scared at all times and have no other course they can use. And we gotta accept it every single time that, hey, they're gonna show us that he was black. They're gonna show us. Well, they don't have to show us anything. But the point is, I don't even want to talk about it. I'm actually gonna take a break.
I think that what we just saw from being a former police officer, I've had people hold guns on me 2 or 3 times, and I didn't shoot them. I've had a crazy 2 or 3 crazy people just attacking, and we had to fight them. We didn't shoot them. You know, this age, these 25, 30 years later, all they know is to kill you. Now, if those officers really wanted to do what was right, what they should have done was they should have shot the person to disable. They could have shot that boy in his leg. He was 12 feet away. A father, 12, 15 feet away. They could have shot that boy in his leg to disarm him. You know, that he would have been worried about that injury he had. You could tell something was wrong. He had to be mentally ill or something to attack the police with a knife while they got guns. And they shot him 8 times, which was too excessive. Now, I would venture to say that they'll probably get off because they had somebody with a weapon. And they're probably going to get off. But they should have, but they probably lose their jobs. But that boy lost his life. And you know, after the commentary from each one of us, then we'll show the other video in contrast to that one. Go ahead, Kia, Carl.
That was my first time watching the video all the way through because I didn't want to watch it again. So that's my first time actually watching it through. But I'm not sure if y'all remember Sean Jackson. I believe he comments on here a lot. He's from Philly, and he went back there, and he's been talking about the protests and things like that. And the whole city's in an uproar, and I don't blame him. And I know it's hard for him because he grew up literally down the street, I think, from where it happened. So that's my first time really watching it. I try not to watch too many things like that because I have a heavy heart when it comes to things like that. But
yeah, and the thing is, they saw this man coming. You had time to think. It ain't no, it's a psychological thing for police officers, for anybody in that position. You have to be able to think, do I want to take this person's life? See, you got to value people's life, and they don't value people's life these days. And if you shot me to incapacitate me, then that's fine. You shot me in the leg. You shot me in the arm. You have to go to the shooting range a whole lot. And you have to shoot at moving targets. So it was nothing for them to shoot this boy in the leg. It was nothing for them to shoot this boy in the arm or the shoulder, to disable him, to incapacitate him. But when you shoot center mass and you're there to kill somebody, you're only supposed to do that when there is a clear and present danger to you and somebody else immediately. Not this boy was 15 feet away from anybody. He couldn't have even lunged and got these officers. I could see if he was running toward them with the knife to do it, but he was not. So, he was coming toward them, but he was not really in no hurry to get to him. He was like he was trying to scare him. But, I don't know. It's just crazy.
I feel like if we're not gonna defund the police, then use that money to retrain them on ways to de-escalate a situation, opposed to shooting to kill every time you feel like your life is in danger.
Right.
I feel like there might be. I feel like there could be another component. The value of life is one part, but then it's the side where we're gonna have all these arguments that say no, this guy deserves to die, and those arguments make those cops comfortable enough to make those decisions because they know as long as there's like that argument that hey, I can go ahead and do this part. No one had a taser out, 2 cops, not 1 taser to choose from.
Yeah.
To decide, hey, we have other options. We don't have to kill this man. His mom is right here, yelling at us, yelling at him, trying to calm him down. He's definitely mentally ill. We have 100 things we can do. We can just wait for backup. Let his mom keep him on the curb. There's no commands given. There's no. I didn't hear any. I just feel like they had opportunity to kill somebody. It's something like opportunity to kill as cops. Like, ooh, was this an opportunity I can take? Great. Like it's like they're looking for opportunities to kill instead of opportunities to de-escalate. And that seems like their most important thing they have. It's like, is he black? Oh, great. Did he have anything in his hand? Was it dark? Great. That's even better. Do your thing then, cops. It's like, what is going on? It's like it's almost like how are we again asking for our lives to be considered, asking for it, but yet they're gonna tear up Philly now. They're gonna tell us look how they're riding. Look what they're doing to their city. Look what you're doing to our people. Look what you're constantly doing year after year, day after day. It's like a constant reminder. Why do you need to remind us that you can do this? You can't show us that you can't, or you can stop. You won't show us that you can stop doing this at some point. You can train better. You can implement anything to make that. You can have a third person in the car that jumps out and says, hey, cops, in these situations, let's de-escalate. You can do a lot of different things, but it seems like they want to kill us. They have to show us who's boss. Again and again and again. It's not hard to realize what's going to happen if you shoot a black man in America now. Your city's going to burn.
I can give it to you from both sides. That side from, I could see if
Mr. Julius frozen. He's still frozen and I can't hear you.
See if Facebook got us. Facebook get us out of here. We should be getting
You're connected. Just tell him to go out and come back in.
Yeah, go out and come back. I think we're good. But yeah, I'll just say, man, it's I don't think there's enough. We don't need any more history on what's going on versus cops and black people. We don't need no study. We don't need anybody to take on the case. All we need people to say is like, this is what we're gonna do to make it stop. This is what we're gonna start doing to stop this from happening. Those simple ideas like this is what we can do as cops to have this stop happening. in Savannah implemented some protocol. What was it? Can wait or something like that. What's the name of it? The thing they did in Savannah is called 8 can wait or 9. It's Savannah like no chokeholds. A list of things they can do to keep cops. It's something like that. You know what I'm talking about, Carl? They implemented something here in Savannah called 8 can wait or Anyway, long story short, it's not that hard to not kill people. It's not that hard. Now, I would never expect a cop to take it to die for anybody if he wants to go home, but he definitely has options, especially at a long range rifle. You have it's just hard to explain. Like, why are we betting people not to kill us, and why do they have?
I guess they feel like that badge they can hide behind. It's a lot of racist people behind the badges. So they get to put it on. They know if they do anything, they're pretty much gonna get off. It's not often that you see cops getting, penalized for what they do. They always get off. Carl, what you doing over there? They done left us to have our own little show.
Sorry,
No, I'm on my phone and it died on me, so y'all forgive me. What happened to Julius?
He got frozen, so he had to go out.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
So what were you guys talking about?
We're just talking about. We saw the video of Philly, and we wanted to just talk about that. I don't know if you had a take on that.
Oh yeah, no. Actually, I'm not up to speed on it. I haven't even seen the tape, but before my phone turned off on me, I heard I don't want to mess your name up, Kaya.
Kia.
I'm thinking about something else. Not Kia. Okay, Kia. Okay, but see, my take on that is what you were speaking of when you speaking about defunding the police. But see, in my opinion, that's where the left, our messaging needs to be improved. Because just to hear the term defunding the police is like you want to take the money from the police and it be chaos in the streets or whatever. No, you take some of that money and reallocate it to, for mental health workers or whatever the case may be that the police are clearly not equipped to deal with. And, but that particular incident, I'm not, again, they don't care about black folks, because, a white guy could have been out there with a chainsaw or whatever, and they would have found a way to wrestle him down and, and lock him up other than kill him. So, it's just the same old story.
Yeah, they want us to be stuck every single time. Like, and we're stuck riding, we're stuck getting angry, we're stuck mourning, we're stuck being angry. We're stuck being angry, we're stuck mourning, we're figuring it out. But it's not really hard to figure it out. Like, what are you guys gonna do next time this happens? They should put prison. And what are we gonna do to prevent it next time? Show us that you shot your taser 2 times. Show us that he didn't comply. Show us that you tried to put him in handcuffs and then he swung his knife and was aggressive. We didn't see any of that. We saw a man doing criminal stuff. That doesn't mean he needs to die on that day. That's a charge. That's not a death sentence. How come they don't work on this, right? Getting charges together and try to subdue people without killing them? They're going to go to prison. No one's saying he shouldn't go to prison for brandishing a knife and chasing cops. No one would say that. But I think that they feel like that's a destiny. Being black alone for some people is reason to die. So damn sure don't be aggressive. Be normal, as they would say. Anything we do is aggressive. So we have to be careful because they damn sure want to take us out.
I'm back now. I don't know why I was having technical difficulties. Somebody is playing on my computer outside, playing with my line, I guess, so they don't want me to say what I was saying. But what I was saying was that if the guy had a gun, I could see because it's imminent danger. he could shoot the gun and shoot somebody and kill somebody. But still, you could have shot to incapacitate him. But then they teach you in the police academy to shoot to kill. Send a mass. That's what you were taught. You're not supposed to tell anybody that, but you're taught that. You're taught to shoot to kill. And if a person has a gun, it's more understandable. But if a person has a knife and they aren't around anybody, you can shoot to incapacitate a person. That's what you're supposed to do. But Charles made a great point. Why didn't they tase him? They could have shot mace at him first and blinded him, for a minute and disarmed him. So it's just crazy on how they treat us because they don't put any value on our life. And a black man in this world today, and people think that everything we're saying like that we're so racist. We're not racist. We don't have the power to be racist or prejudiced. All we have the power to do is to ask you to treat us with some decency. We don't have that kind of power. And so all we can do is if we don't do and come together as a unit, as a unified group, they're going to disregard everything that we say, everything that we do. If we don't vote, I was on there talking to my cousin today, talking about why they're not voting, some young people. And if we don't vote, then we don't matter. And we don't have a right to complain. So, it's just crazy. It's crazy. To Charles, did you show the other video? Now he's gonna show y'all another video. Watch this, and then I've seen several of these, and it's in total contrast to what that happened in the first video.
Oh, I saw this one.
So again, in this case, I'm sure that the cop was calling in and telling him boys are being boys outside my car and I'll get down there and help me out. There was no aggression that he didn't. He's just talking it up like, hey man, they're beating up my car, man. Some kids are having fun on me. It's nothing to them. There's this benefit of the doubt that they get. That I'm not saying he should just roll down the window and start capping kids, but still, if they get considered, he's treated them like kids, like they were aggressive little kids. If those were black guys, they would have been shot. Period. With no question about it. I wouldn't even felt any way other than, yeah, man, you put yourself in danger. Those kids put themselves in danger. There was no danger for them, though. No danger found them. He had a weapon. They had sticks. He could have subdued two kids with just one pulling his gun one time. He could have got them to put their arms up. But he didn't even have that option. He didn't feel like that was enough, or that would have been too aggressive for those kids. Could have tased them. He could have had a command for them. Anything. Nothing. He didn't offer them anything other than the chance to go home to their parents.
Now, if anybody deserves the bullet,
that's real. I'm not. Again, those are kids, so I'm not gonna say they deserve to die that day. But when you take certain actions towards cops, they say, "Hey, you're supposed to get what you deserve." But again, I don't think anyone deserves to die when they deal with cops for any reason. I think that's not fair to say that they get to take people out like that.
I wouldn't be surprised if he gave him a car ride home.
Hey, you guys are upset. I understand. Come get you home to your parents, see what's going on with you. So I don't know, man.
And if anybody deserved the bullet, it certainly wasn't Walter Wallace Jr., 27-year-old black male. Here you have two unruly white males attacking the police. The glass that they shattered could have went in his eyes and caused him to go blind. And they didn't even open the door. Didn't open the door to fire out a taser. Didn't open the door to shoot him in the leg. Didn't do anything. They let him go. You know, and they wonder why we complain. They wonder why we mad as hell. They wonder why we say Black Lives Matter. This is why. It's not fair. It's not fair.
They don't care about it being fair or not. If they can get away with it, they don't care about fairness. Honestly, that's how I feel. They're not going to change until they are literally forced to change.
My homie showed me it's something happening where they understand everything we're saying. I promise you, they don't need to hear it again. Everybody knows that Black people are dying at alarming rates to the hands of cops. They're not blind to that. The reason it doesn't change, America is built on this. It's built on like literally hurting someone to get ahead, keeping someone down. They don't even want like the idea of poverty being erased in America. They need somebody below them. Not really a race per se, but they need to have somebody below them so the power structures can function here in America. You can't have equality. You can't have pay raises. You can't have equal rights. That's just too much like right. Too much like fair. It's how are fair ideas called extreme ideas? The most fair idea is called extreme in America.
With that $75, she's on $6.
Yeah. Both of them at the same time. So,
I was about to say when Biden.
What we have to do.
About to say when Biden win
is unite. Because
them.
we got to be able to police our own neighborhoods. We got to be able to do a whole lot to help ourselves. Our community can only get better when we get involved. I want to thank our sponsors for the night, Apex Right Angle Helmet. You can get it Apex Right Angle Helmet at apextriumph.com, and our other sponsor for the night is the Omen Watch, and you can get it and buy you an Omen Watch, become a distributor through fanwatchesandart.com. fanwatchesandart.com. I also want to tell everybody about all the other shows that we have on the platform. On Monday, we have Candidly Keisha with Keisha Gibson Carter. On Tuesday, we have Our Vulnerable Communities at 10 o'clock with Charles Shaw and Julius Hall. On Tuesdays, we also have at 6 o'clock Natural as a Frock by Ferrante Frazier at 6 p.m. At 7 p.m., we got Alicia Miller Blakely with For Us, By Us. On Wednesday, we're right back here again with the show you're watching now, The Rabble, with Zakia Brown, Carl Shaw, Charlie Brown, Eric Scott, Carl Murray, and Julius Hall. We're the hosts every week. On Thursday, you have Jay Jones with Community Talk at 7 p.m. $3. Do we have anything else on Thursday? On Friday, we have 6 p.m. We have Incarceration to Incorporation with Anthony Barnes and Julius Hall as your hosts. You need to tune into that show. It's a great show. Friday, we have at 9 o'clock, we got Eric Scott with the Eric Scott Hour. On Saturday, we have, that's at 9 o'clock with Eric Scott with the Eric Scott Hour. On Saturday, we have, on the first Saturday of every month, we have the Hunger Club with Diane Harvey Johnson. Every Saturday at 9 p.m., I believe, we got Jay Jones with Pep Talk. Y'all make sure y'all tune in because in November, we're going to be exposing a lot of people, the old guard and everybody in the bootleg, everything here. I hope they don't kill us before we do. On Sundays, we have 6 p.m., the Freedom's Journal with Yusef Shabazz. On Sunday, we also have at 7 o'clock p.m., we have Voices in the Struggle with Anthony Maven. We have a number of other shows coming down the pipeline. Mona Lisa Monroe will have her show coming Thursdays after the election, the first Thursday after the election, with Mornings with Mo and Lisa. We have a comedy show coming. We have a Black History show coming. So y'all just stay tuned. We got a lot of things, a lot of shows that will be coming down the pipeline for y'all to watch and get your news here and on this platform at All Things Relevant Media. Charles, Zia?
Yeah, this is your comments. Celia Cook says she is right. They need to be defunded and trained to look for mental issues. That's why people don't give a damn and won't vote. He could have mental issues and also fear for his life because he knew how police do is shoot Black folks down. And that day he could have had a bad day. That's true. You know, we don't have the opportunity to have bad days in front of cops because they look for reasons to take us out. You know, it's not. They tell us one thing about cops. You know, they're friendly, they're nice, but yet we say, what are all the steps they could have took here to be friendly, nice, community advocates, people advocates, life advocates, humanitarians? What could they have done in this moment to be any of those things other than murderers? Because they show us that they want to be murderers more than anything else. You got your guns out. That's the first thought you have to pull your gun every single time. You want to be a murderer. If I didn't want to kill somebody, I'll pull out the least deadly option. It's not that hard to consider. You have it on your hip. It's one of 3-4 choices. You got a baton, handcuffs, taser, flashlight. You got 5 choices before you pull out that gun. And once you pull out that gun, you literally made a decision. I would rather be a murderer today than a humanitarian. The man's mother's right there beside him. I mean, the man's mother was right there beside him. So I think that's really cool.
And it's not like the taser don't have reach. The taser could have easily reached him. If that didn't work, then you go to your next option. A gun and a knife, those aren't even equal. So for him to have a gun in his hand and he's so far away, but to shoot him is your first response and to shoot to kill, no, that's overkill.
Yeah, it's overkill. Overkill.
And not only that, the world was watching. And the world see, you know, and police officers have to realize that, you know, you can go to work collecting a check one day, and the next day you could be in a jail cell, like the guy that was put on his knee on George Floyd's neck. So they have to start being more aware of what is going on. And you know, defunding the police, you know, I guess for lack of a better word, they probably should have a different word. It needs to be retraining the police. You go to the police academy for 12 to 16 weeks, according to where you go to the police academy at, and you got power over somebody's life. After 12 to 16 weeks of training, another 4 weeks of probably riding with a field training officer. And if you're one of those gung-ho officers, you can't put a guy from South Dakota in Yamacraw Village. You know, that's where the trouble starts at. You're putting people not from the neighborhood in the neighborhood. And yes, you know, that's one of the first things that need to be changed. You need to hire from within the community so that you can put community people out. If you had people that was from that neighborhood who knew the people in the neighborhood, they would already know this particular young man and they wouldn't have to use deadly force problem. But when you bring somebody from South Dakota, Wyoming, and put them in the hood and thinking that they're going to not shoot you, they're looking at you as a wild animal and they're going to shoot you. Your life has no value. You know, and I used to train police officers. And when I used to train these young white guys used to come in there and they used to be gung-ho and want to run and chase everybody. I said, oh. I used to tell them, slow it down, fella. You know, that's not how we're going to do this here. Everybody don't have to go to jail. You know, anybody, that's why I became, I guess, so popular. I didn't put everybody in jail. I know everybody couldn't afford to go to jail. You know, so I don't know. Defunding the police is one thing, but we need to retrain the police for one.
Yeah, for clarification, I'm not saying defund the police. I'm saying instead of defund the police, reallocate those funds. Instead of buying them armed vehicles and all those extra things that they don't need in the city or wherever they are, use that money for training. Use that so they can know how to deal with people with mental issues. Community involvement. Get to know your people in the community. If they would have been in that community like they should have been, they would know who that young man, what issues he had on, who his parents were, his grandparents. We have no relationship with the police at all. They're like strangers to us, complete strangers. And that's the way a lot of people act how they act, because we see what's happening on the internet. We see them shooting us. So the first thing that he thinks is, okay, they're about to shoot me. That's why the first thing in his mind is like, they're about to shoot me. And he's trying to get away. So they need to learn how to de-escalate situations. Really de-escalate. Not use excuses as to why you get to use your gun.
And it's funny that you say that, because when I was on the police department 30 years ago, we had a Lieutenant O'Quinn. And Lieutenant O'Quinn was old redneck, white guy, but he was a good police officer. And he would be the guy that you would think would be the most racist guy in the world, but he treated us like we were his sons. And he would tell us, he said, I want you to once a day in your neighborhood, log out and walk the neighborhood so you can know the people in the neighborhood. Police today don't do that. And you have to have somebody in those cars that know everybody in all the houses. I got a councilman out here, Councilman Barbie, Thomas Barbie in Fort Worth. He goes to everybody's house, picking up paper in the neighborhoods every day. He knows all of them. And that's community involvement. You got to get the police to do the same thing. You have to get out and walk those beats. You have to get out and talk to people so you'll know what's happening, so they'll feel better about you, you know? But that's just an idea. They got away from that type of policing.
Yeah, I was going to say, very good point. I was going to say, you got to change policing. It seems when they say defunding, they scared everybody. It was a great word to make the radical people say the most. They're going to defund police. The streets are going to be, vigilantes everywhere, robbing us and coming to our neighborhoods. We all know what the real is. The real was to say that we're going to just allocate funds so that we can do better for everybody, which is our community too. If our community is not getting shot, then maybe Philly would not be burning right now. That's for everybody actually. So we got to take ideas to get some things done versus just saying, no, we can't be extreme and not defund the police. That's not extreme. That's an idea that can really work. That's an idea that can really get some people, save some lives. And if that's extreme, that means that once again, our lives aren't valued. Just the idea of doing anything to save our lives makes them, why? We need armored tanks to run down the neighborhoods. We need guns bigger than they have in war on the streets. We need armor. We need everything that they would have. They love it. It's almost like playing war. And in our own streets, they love it for some reason. Like, why do they love that aggressive stance in America? Who are they going to war against? We're not shooting at them. But there's no big tick in anything with black people going against cops in America. There's nothing like that happening. It's an uproar and pain, but nobody's attacking cops in right now. But they're pretending like it's happening.
Yeah. Our producer just suggested that we predict the elections. So before the night is over, we got about, it's almost time now. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna have to predict the elections, take 5 minutes and give predictions on the president's race and then the local race. Let's go with the president. I'm picking Biden and Harris to win. Charles?
It's gonna be a blue wave, period. So congratulations on the Democrats, because it's just gonna be an overwhelming blue wave. Anything else, I don't think would be fair. I don't believe that they could win any fair race right now.
That is good. Damn, that was pretty good. That was real good. I like that, Charles. I don't know why I didn't think of that. That was pretty good. I agree with you. I agree with you totally. It's gonna be a blue wave.
Blue wave. Blue wave.
Blue wave. Okay.
We ain't even gotta go list everybody. It's gonna be a blue wave.
Real simple. I think
Okay.
they didn't choose.
Okay.
They're amplifying the hate to make us believe that many people are still Trump supporters. Those patches of hateful people, they're not that many. They might make a big crowd on camera, but they're not vast. They're not all over the country. That's why he's only traveling in certain areas. This is only a small groups in America that feel that way for Trump. He doesn't have a big base. They're not tricking anybody. They want to trick us into thinking he has a big base of people. Saying, still, look at these crowds. There are a lot of people. No, you're going to where people are going to show up for you in 32-degree weather because they really love you there in those small areas in America. It's not vast. It's not real. They're going to try to trick us again.
And we want to also give a shout out to the candidates that are in these races, but we don't think they're going to be close. We think that we're going to win them outright. Shalana Cook Jones for District Attorney, Chester Ellis for County Chairman of the County Commission, Orlando Scott for the 7th District, R.G. Bryan and Mr. Blackman for Daniel Blackman for Public Service Commission, Marcus Thompson for State House 164. We got Joyce Griggs, the incomparable Joyce Griggs for 1st Congressional District of Georgia, the U.S. House. We want David Campbell for the coroner. So we got some races out there that we you got Adol Whiteley in the 6th, and you got a couple more that are in contested races, and I don't have the sheet in front of me. Who all we got back here? We got everybody back here I already called. We got Raphael Warnock and John Alsop. Raphael Warnock and John Alsop. Don't forget them. We want to turn the state blue and put them in office and take the Senate. Go ahead. Oh, okay. Tell them that.
The debate between Ossoff and Perdue tonight, we'll have to rewatch it, but I'm sure it's fireworks for the like this.
Okay. It's 9:03 p.m. We've been on the air for 2 hours. We thank Carl for showing up, even though he had a meeting. He came after the meeting. Alicia Scott texted me and told me she was still in a work meeting, and y'all know Mr. Brown is sick. So we'll get back with you all after the election with all the results, and I'm sure there'll be a lot of rabble next week because it's going to be tough. Yeah, I don't know. So we my producer just told me that we forgot Mal Hyman out in one of the districts. Don't forget, just vote the straight Democratic ticket. Vote straight down the ticket, all Democrat, turn the state blue, and let's see what we can do with changing how we do things. All right? Until then, Kia, you got anything?
Oh, no. I'm about to go take a shower and do some work and go to sleep.
All right. Charles, you got anything? All right. Radical peace time.
I see why you mad, you ain't swaggin' like this. Police in my whip, must be thought I had bricks. Say I wouldn't make it, but it's happening quick. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. You better let me get rich. Hating on me now, when I ain't got shit, you better let me get rich. They stuffed it with us cheap.